Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Dugout Daily. I'm Charlie and I'm joined by Bernard again. How are you, mate?
I'm fine, Charlie. Thanks for having me on. I'm just got rid of Storm Dudley, haven't we? We've got Storm Unit. Is it Eunice? Eunice on the way. So hopefully it's blown through by weekends. There's been a rumour that they might be cancelling Premier League games this weekend because of the storms. Let's hope not, but we'll see.
Yeah, hopefully not, indeed. So we'll get straight to it then. Tuesday night, Sporting 0, City 5. Mahrez with the first goal, then Bernardo, then Foden, then Bernardo scored again, and Sterling scored a screamer in the second half as well. What was your thoughts on the game, Bernard?
Well, I think we put it to bed, mate, haven't we? I mean, it's very good. We don't have to panic for the second leg and put two stronger teams out at a time when we've got some big games coming up. So on that basis, it all went well. But I think Pep was a little bit under excited by it all, a bit underwhelmed, wasn't he? When we speak to him, and I can understand why, because I thought in that first half we were a little bit lax at a couple of times, and we do tend to have this problem in European games. We don't get off to the quickest starts away from home. We're all right at home, but away from home, we seem to make silly little mistakes. And I think Pep was sort of kept that anger, if you like, into the second half as well. But yeah, I mean, obviously, we're a bit churlish to say we weren't happy with a 5-0 away win at one of the weakest clubs, but they're still in the last 16 of the Champions League. And yeah, a great result on the night, whether Pep was underwhelmed or not.
Yeah, definitely. We'll go to the team news then, starting with City. Our team looked like this. It was Edison in goal, a back four of Stones, Diaz, Laporte and Cancelo, Rodri, De Bruyne and Bernardo in the midfield, with Mahrez on the right, Sterling on the left and Foden in the false nine role. What was your thoughts on the City team, Bernard?
Well, I got it all 11 right in my team, so I'll take that. Obviously, I took full responsibility on Twitter before the game. It all went wrong because obviously I picked the same 11, and I think we knew it from the Brentford game, the team he played against Brentford, that he wanted Stones to come in at right back. I think basically it was the Brentford team, I think. So we put Brentford on the same level as Sporting, perhaps. Yeah, so yeah, it was pretty much as I expected. A lot of people probably expected that as well, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and then the Sporting team looks like this. Their team was Adan in goal, a back three of Inacio, Coates and Reis. Pedro Porro, who is on loan from City at right wing back, with Esgaio at left wing back. The two in the midfield was Palhinha and Nunes. Apparently, we are looking at that Nunes guy. He didn't shine out for me, to be honest. Sarabia on the right, Goncalves on the left, with Paulinho up top. What was your thoughts on the Sporting team, Bernard?
Yeah, I don't know much about, and I've seen highlights of some games, and they had a very tough game against Porto on Friday night, where obviously they had 3 players sent off. So whether that affected them, I doubt it. But I just thought they were quite poor. I thought our player was probably the best player for the first 20, 30 minutes, but there's no one I could say, oh yeah, well, I wouldn't mind him in my team. So I thought they were a pretty average, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Yeah, I couldn't agree more, to be honest. We'll look at the stats then for this game. Sporting with 36% to our 64% possession, 3 shots to 15, no shots on target to 6, 2 shots off target to 4, 1 block shot to 5, no corners to 6, 2 offsides to 3, 9 fouls to 16, 3 yellow cards to 1, no big chances to 3, no big chances missed to 1, 1 shot inside the box to 9, 2 shots outside the box to 6. Adan had to make 2 saves for Sporting. Edison had nothing to do. 383 passes to 675, 81% accurate passes to 93%, 38% accurate long balls to 86%, 11% accurate crosses to 18%, 47% successful dribbles to 67%, Sporting lost the ball 111 times to our 89, 40 duels won to 43, 5 aerial duels won to 9, 11 tackles each, 5 interceptions to 10, and 6 clearances to 11. Do you think those stats fairly represent the game, Bernard?
Yeah, I think after about 15, 20 minutes, I think they slightly was up there with the possession, weren't they? I think the first 50, instead of that, we always seem to start a bit slowly in these European away games. I'm not too sure why. But obviously those stats by the end are more reflective on a normal stats in a City game. And as I say, it sort of reflects overall the facts. And I think the key thing there was Edison didn't have anything to do, and he didn't. He had absolutely nothing to do. It's just about sums it up. The guys in front of him, even when we did make little errors, managed to compensate for those errors. So yeah, a little bit even more one-sided perhaps than some of our Premier League games.
Yeah, my dad actually said to me at half-time, Swindon played better than them in the first half. Maybe that's a bit of over-exaggeration, but it just shows really. 4-0 at half-time.
I think the Reds went down, mate. I think, as I said, I thought they were okay. I thought they were okay for 10 or 15 minutes, but once they went a couple behind, they seemed to go into the shells and not be willing to risk anything. And you can't blame them. They didn't want to be embarrassed, but in the end, they were embarrassed. But at the end of the day, it's no good trying to defend against City, especially if you haven't got a great defence. And I think, sadly, I don't think they've got a very good defence.
Yeah, definitely not. And then the attack momentum looks like this. As you can see there, in the first part of the first half, Sporting had a bit of a period. We were very much on top, though, there throughout the game. A little bit of a period there for Sporting at the start of the second half as well. But it's all City like usual, really, there, isn't it?
Yeah, perhaps a bit more than I thought based on the game. Certainly in the second half, I don't remember. I didn't have the greatest stream, to be honest with you, and I had to sort of redo it a couple of times. But I don't think I missed too much of any excitement. But surprised they had those peaks in the second half, to be honest with you, because I didn't think. I thought first half they were better, and second half they were almost non-existent.
Yeah. We'll go to the players then, starting with Edison in goal. His stats look like this. 1 successful run out of 1, 35 touches, 97% accurate passes, 6 out of 6 accurate long balls as well. Thoughts on Edison's performance? I think you pretty much summed it up before, though.
Yeah, we had to just see what he could do defensively, didn't we? As far as pinging the ball about, that's all we had to look forward to. And I was surprised. Obviously, I believe Stefan's picked up an injury, still injured, isn't he? Because I was surprised he wasn't on the bench. I wasn't aware of that. So it certainly would have been interesting if Edison had a rush of blood that he sometimes does in these European games and been sent off. Obviously we had no Walker there to go in goal, so obviously it would have missed a Slicker or obviously Carson. So that would have been fun in games, but fortunately it wasn't. We needn't have worried. Edison didn't have anything to do, and he didn't do anything wrong because he didn't have anything to do. But a couple of nice little ping long passes. That was about it.
Yeah, not much to do, like you said. At right back, as you said before, was John Stones with Walker suspended. So Stone's stats looks like this: 3 out of 4 ground duels were won, 1 out of 1 aerial duels were won. 4 times he lost possession. He was fouled once, 49 touches, 95% accurate passes, 3 out of 4 accurate long balls, 1 shot off target, 2 out of 2 successful dribble attempts, and 1 big chance missed. Thoughts on Stones' performance?
Yeah, he didn't let us down. I don't think most of us thought he would, unfortunately. Sporting, I thought they might have a go down our right and our left, because obviously, as I say, we're not the greatest at left back position with Cancelo playing more forward. And I thought they'd have a go at Stones as well, and they didn't seem to do that. I mean, the manager's supposed to be quite good, isn't he? Their manager, one of the good young upcoming managers, but whether they obviously had the personnel to sort of try and take on our left and right backs and John Stones and Cancelo, etc., is another matter. But they didn't sort of do that, and Stones could sort of rampage forward. He perhaps should have done slightly better with that header that he sent wide of the post. But again, he got up there, got in the right position. He only missed by about 2 or 3 feet, so it wasn't too bad. But a great performance for a role. As I said, he's not played that much, and unfortunately, Sporting weren't willing to try and expose him.
Yeah, luckily indeed. Into the centre backs then. Right centre back, the former Benfica man, one of four who was actually starting. Ruben Diaz. His stats look like this: 4 clearances, 1 interception, 1 out of 1 ground duels with 1. 6 times he lost possession, 91 touches, 93% accurate passes, 4 out of 5 accurate long balls, 1 shot blocked, and 1 out of 1 successful dribble attempts. Thoughts on Ruben Diaz's performance?
Well, he was the main boo boy, wasn't he? That were booing in the game, which I think players like Diaz certainly doesn't worry him. If anything, it's going to make him play better. And obviously, he didn't do much wrong from what I could see. There were a couple of errors, and but I don't think he may have made one slight error somewhere along the line. But he was just cool and calm and just took it all in his stride.
Yeah, and then next to him, at left centre back was Aymeric Laporte. His stats looked like this: 2 clearances, 2 interceptions, 1 tackle, 1 out of 3 ground duels with 1, 2 out of 2 aerial duels with 1. 4 times he lost possession, 2 fouls, 103 touches, 96% accurate passes, 4 out of 6 accurate long balls, 1 shot off target as well. Thoughts on Laporte's performance?
Yeah, similar to Diaz. I think it was Rodri. We'll talk about him in a minute. Made a bit of a rick, didn't he? I think it was 1-0 or 2-0. I wasn't sure what the score was, but it could have let Sporting back into the game. And Laporte managed to just hold his ground and block the effort, I think, that came our way. But again, like Diaz, he wasn't overly tested, but what he had to do, again, he did competently and looked calm as well.
Yeah. And then next up at left back, as you said before, João Cancelo. His stats looked like this. So we had that is Rodri, not Cancelo. There he is. 1 clearance, 2 interceptions. He was dribbled past twice, 2 out of 8 ground duels were 1. 19 times he lost possession, 2 fouls, 94 touches, 84% accurate passes. None out of 2 accurate crosses, 2 out of 4 accurate long balls, 1 shot off target, and 2 out of 4 successful dribble attempts. Thoughts on Cancelo's performance?
Yeah, well, those stats sort of back up my feelings. I didn't think he was that great, to be honest with you. I was looking at the MEN, and obviously Simon Pekowski's was doing the player ratings. It's usually Stuart Brennan. He thought he had a good game. I didn't think he was that great, and those stats sort of back that up. That I thought I was probably correct. It's one of those games I wouldn't have minded going back and watching again on the City Plus channel, but I just didn't have the time to go back and watch it again just to see if I missed something, because I didn't think he was great going forward, and obviously defending he didn't have that much. Porro was coming down his side, wasn't he, a little bit, and he got a bit of tormenting at the start of the game. But I say, yeah, I wasn't overly impressed with Cancelo, and I think those stats sort of say he didn't have the greatest game.
Yeah. Into the midfield, then, of course, the 6 was Rodri, his main position this season, one of the first names on the team sheet. His stats look like this. He was off after 73 minutes, 90 touches, 95% accurate passes, 1 key pass, 6 out of 6 accurate long balls, 1 shot block, 1 out of 1 successful dribble attempts, 3 out of 6 ground duels were 1, 3 out of 4 aerial duels were 1. 4 times he lost possession, 2 fouls. He was fouled once, 1 clearance, 1 interception, 1 tackle, and he was dribbled past once as well. Thoughts on Rodri's performance?
Yeah, well, I got a bit of stick off. Well, not just one person said I've obviously got a downer on Rodri when I did my little vlogs, and I did say, well, I've been pretty much sticking up for him this season because I thought he's improved vastly on what I thought, and he's done very, very well. But again, I mean, that one error, I think it was halfway through the first half, could have cost us a goal. And I think Pep had a go at him when he came off, from what I was reading between the lines from the newspaper report. I didn't see it myself, but when he took him off on 70-odd minutes, he's getting a bit of a lecture. So, yeah, I mean, is he Fernandinho? He isn't. He isn't the same sort of player. But again, I would say he's been playing excellently well. But I think if we go on to win this Champions League, he can't just switch it on and off for games. He's got to be 100% concentrating all the time. And I don't think a couple of times in that game against Sporting, he was quite tuned into what was going on. But as I say, I've been impressed with him this season. So hopefully it's just a blip. And I think they did say he got dropped after a Champions League performance last season, didn't he? He played rubbish in one and then got dropped for a while. So he'll be all right. I'm sure he'll play against Tottenham because he's in our strongest team at the moment, and he can make up for any obvious errors I think he made, even though he may not have done. Perhaps. I don't know what you think, Charlie. I think I've been pretty fair on him this season, and I don't think he was great against Sporting. I thought he made one or two bad errors and not as good as his usual self.
Yeah, just average, to be honest. An average Rodri performance. Didn't have much to do, but when he had stuff to do, he gave the ball away now and again, and he just made mistakes throughout the game. So hopefully he can get back to his best performance on Saturday.
I don't think I think he's quite a calm guy. Again, I don't think he's not one. He doesn't go after publicity or anything, does he? Seems to have his head screwed on, and that's very good. So I'm sure whatever Pep did say to him, and he was very animated, I believe, was constructive, and it is going to be constructive. He'll take it on the chin, and as I say, he's vastly improved for me on last season and since he's been with us. And as I said, all right, we're all entitled to have the odd bad mistake, but in Champions, I think Pep wants to win that Champions League like we all do, and I think in the last 16 he's got to drill it into these players somehow. You've got to be at it. You've got to be at it in these games, and because fortunately, I think Laporte saved him that his blushes on that one. But he can do better, and I'm sure he'll be fine. As I said, because he seems a decent guy. He seems a decent guy. He's got his head screwed on. He's not going to get too upset about it, and he's going to carry on regardless.
Yeah. Into the next midfielder then, of course, it is Kevin De Bruyne. He got an assist, 66 touches, 94% accurate passes, 3 key passes, 2 out of 5 accurate crosses, 4 out of 4 accurate long balls, 1 big chance created, 1 shot off target, 1 shot blocked, none out of 1 successful dribble attempts, none out of 4 ground duels were won, none out of 1, aerial duels were won. 13 times he lost possession, 3 fouls as well. Thoughts on De Bruyne's performance, Bernard?
Yeah, he's been overshadowed a little bit by 2 or 3 of the other players, but that doesn't mean he's playing badly. I think he's playing some of his better stuff he's played for a while, and he seems the last 3 or 4 games he's played for me, he's worked very, very hard. He's worked for the team. He's put the effort in, and he's produced the odd quality ball that's either led to a goal or should have led to a goal. And yeah, I'm quite happy with KDB. I think he should be happy with himself. I'm sure Pep's happy with him, because he seems to keep him injury-free, fingers crossed, which obviously has always been a little thing with Kevin. I think he went down in this one, didn't he? I was a bit worried for a minute or two when he goes down, goes down injured. But no, I thought he played. He got overshadowed, but I thought he played a very, very good game.
Yeah. And he tweeted after the game, what a team as well, especially in that first half, was one of the best first half performances I've seen City in a long time. Next up then, the main man from Portugal, the almost hat-trick hero, but Bernardo Silva, 2 goals, 1 assist, 53 touches, 89% accurate passes, 2 key passes, none out of 1 accurate crosses, 1 out of 1 accurate long balls, 2 shots on target, 1 out of 2 successful dribble attempts, 4 out of 10 ground duels were won, 10 times he lost possession, 1 foul, 1 offside, 1 clearance, 3 tackles, and he was dribbled past 3 times as well. Thoughts on Bernardo's performance, Bernard?
I don't think you could ask for more, could you? A returning Benfica fan to obviously one of the big local rivals. He couldn't have asked for much better, could he? I mean, you just have to look. Someone lucky not to get the hat-trick. That third goal, I thought that looked more onside than that first goal that took ages to get sorted out. But obviously I was a bit gutted that it was. I think his shoulder was offside from what I remember. Looking back at the still frame, but would have been a great hat-trick. But even so, fantastic. I mean, that goal. I mean, You look at it, and I thought it was a half volley, but the actual ball was back on its way up. It actually bounced, was actually going back up. And how do you keep that down underneath the bar? How do any player would have skied that because of the way it was, but his technique was absolutely superb. All right, a little bit lucky with the second one, but that first goal, absolutely brilliant. I mean, I've said to you, I want him more in that 18-yard box because he's one of these. And some people have been commenting. I've seen want him as the false nine and stuff like this because he's more effective than Foden can be. But I think he's fine as he is. He's sort of playing in and out of different positions there. So brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I want to say it was absolutely outstanding. So glad for him because I'm sure he would have wished for that. He would have dreamed of that return to Portugal before going. So great. I'm so happy for him.
Yeah. Big up Solo, big up Anthony, big up Luca, all in the chat as well. We got a few Bernardo quotes here. You need a bit of luck to score that many goals as well, but I'm very happy with a win, a great result and a good performance. Sometimes you play better than we played this first half and it's 0-0. We can still improve and still do better. He also said it's a competition we want to win. The group is in a very good moment. We are working really hard and we have shown we're at a higher level than last season. It was a special night. It came to my home. I came to my home city, winning 5-0, scoring 2 and having a good advantage ahead of the second leg. I played 12 years at Benfica's academy. I'm a Benfica fan, so it's always special to win here at the Jose Alvalade. He also said, still, there's a job to do in Manchester. We cannot relax. And finally, I think in the first half, we weren't that good to be winning 4-0. A bit sloppy, lost some easy balls to let them counter. We were clinical, and you need luck to score that many. You can still improve, and we can still do better. So we'll move on to Riyad Mahrez then. His stats look like this: 1 goal, 1 assist, 1 shot on target, 3 out of 3 successful dribble attempts, 56 touches, 92% accurate passes, 4 key passes, none out of 2 accurate crosses, 4 out of 4 accurate long balls, 1 big chance created, 6 out of 8 ground duels were won, 1 out of 1 aerial duels were won, 9 times he lost possession, he was fouled twice, 1 offside, 1 clearance, 1 interception, 1 tackle, and dribbled past once as well. Thoughts on Mahrez' performance, Bernard?
Yeah, again, one of our better players on the night. I think it suited him, the pace of the game, the way we played. That obviously the goal was a bit of a funny one, wasn't it? I mean, I know he put it in, and obviously, but we all thought it'd be chalked off for offside when he scored his goal. And to be honest with you, he did his best to try and pass it back to the keeper, didn't he? With his left, he seemed to sort of pass it back towards where the keeper was rather than put it in the open net. But that was probably just how he positioned. But that goal that he set up. Who was it for Foden? The goal for Foden, absolutely. Because I mean, everyone expects him to go on his left, and that's what he normally does. But no, he brought it back on after jinking around. But there's like 10 men in the box, 40 men in the box. He missed out the first one. Pretty bad defensively, really. Let's be honest about it. And Foden had a little bit of work to do to beat the man to it and get it in the net. But Mahrez just plonked it in with his right foot. And they didn't expect it, so it caught all the sporting defenders, if you like, on the back foot because they were looking for that left foot sort of swinging in cross. But yeah, he played very, very well, I thought. And I say the pace of the game, it wasn't over. It wasn't daft, was it? It was quite cool and collected, the pace. It wasn't anything too fast, and it suited Mahrez, and he was involved. And I think he was involved in the second half in that goal as well for that we scored the 5th goal. Sterling, wasn't it? Yeah. I think he was involved in that as well. So yeah, a great game for Mahrez. He played very, very well.
Yeah, some things about Mahrez then. He's now scored 10 goals in his last 11 Champions League appearances. And 2 quotes, we're going to have the same focus, the same type of game. We're going to try and win again. The Champions League is not easy, not like a league. You have to be there in so many things, and we have to be strong and arrive at the end. And finally, on Tuesday, we won. We played a great match. We scored 5 goals, and this is the way to carry on in the next games. Now it's time to focus on the Premier League and try to play a good game against Tottenham. So next up then is Raheem Sterling. His stats look like this. He also got 1 goal, 1 assist, 1 shot on target, 4 out of 5 successful dribble attempts, 51 touches, 94% accurate passes, 1 key pass, 9 out of 12 ground duels were won. 5 times he lost possession, 1 foul. He was fouled twice, 1 interception, 3 tackles, and dribbled past once as well. Thoughts on Sterling's performance, Bernard?
Again, another excellent game from Sterling. What a goal again! A very obviously a bit similar to the Norwich goal in a way, but obviously it was even better because it was in the top corner. And again, all right, they could say they sort of stood off him a little bit, but again, he didn't dawdle, did he? He just got on with it and sort of knocked it into a little bit of space and then curled it in. Absolutely, the goalie couldn't get anywhere near it. I don't think there's a goal anywhere could have got anywhere near it, and I thought he did well in the first half as well. I think with a couple of things he did. So yeah, it's good to see. I mean, obviously, I know we're supposed to be rumours of him signing a new contract to go in. Obviously, it's gone off, not much mentioned at the moment. But if he does leave, obviously his value's increasing again. Fortunately, based on the last few games. But hey, no, I thought he played. Again, as I said, there's at least 5 or 6 City players who had a very good game against Sporting, and Sterling was one of them.
Yeah, definitely. 2 stats on Sterling. He's now entered the top 10 goal scorers of all time for City with that goal on
Well, he
Tuesday
hasn't
night.
really. He hasn't really, mate. He's actually number 11. There's 2 on 9 in 9th spot. So there's top 10. There's 2 in 9th. So really, he's 11th. So it's not really correct. But I agree with the sentiment. But there's 2 joint 9th. So yeah, he is 10th, but really he's 11th because the joint 9th are 9th and 10th, really. But there you go.
Yeah. And most Champions League goals scored by English players. Rooney with 30. Sterling has now got the same amount as goals with 24 in the Champions League, of course.
I don't think there's any doubt he's going to better that, is there? Even if he didn't stay at City, he's going to go to a club with Champions League ambitions. So I don't think that'll last. It'd be nice for him to beat Rooney's within this Champions League season, won't it? That'd be good.
Yep, definitely. Next up then, the final starter, Phil Foden. His stats look like this: 1 goal, 2 shots on target, none out of 1 successful dribble attempts, 30 touches, 100% accurate passes, 1 out of 1 accurate long balls, 1 out of 3 ground duels were won. He lost the ball twice, 1 foul. He was fouled once, 1 offside as well. Thoughts on Foden's performance, Bernard?
Yeah, well, 100% accurate passes. I know he only played 20 odd passes, but again, he's playing in a role that's not his best. A great goal. I mean, he used his weight, his size. Not a big lad, is he? But he can still put it about. And he sort of left. I think he left one of the defenders on his bum or not shrugged him off. And then the way he calmly waited for the keeper to commit himself as well before putting it inside the post. The keeper was totally wrong-footed and had no chance of saving it. If Foden had sort of panicked and shot, he might have been able to save it. But no, again, not playing where he wants to play. But again, did put it in for the team and put the effort in for the team, and that pass completion just sort of sums it up, where perhaps he didn't show anything fantastic himself, but he was there to lay it onto someone else to perhaps create something as well, and a great goal. So that was brilliant.
Yeah. And then a stat on Foden. He's now scored 40 goals for City in all competitions, overtaking the amount Leroy Sané scored for the club with that goal on Tuesday night. We'll move to the substitutes then. The first one being Alexander Zinchenko. His stats look like this. He was on the pitch for 29 minutes, 1 interception, 2 tackles, 2 out of 2 ground duels were won. 2 out of 2 aerial duels were won. 4 times he lost possession. 34 touches, 88% accurate passes, 1 key pass, none out of 1 accurate crosses, 1 out of 1 accurate long balls, 1 shot blocked as well. Thoughts on Zinchenko's performance, Bernard?
Yeah, he just fitted in, mate. Then he didn't have to do anything spectacular defensively, which is fortunate. But he just slotted in down that left-hand side, where Cancelo was playing along with Sterling. And I think from a going forward point of view, I think we said it the other day. I don't, obviously he's not as smooth as Cancelo, but we don't really lose that much because he's quite clever. He can play the simple passes, but we don't really lose that much on that side when he does slot in. As far as forward momentum is going, he didn't have to do much defending, so we were fine, and he slotted in nicely.
Yeah, definitely. Next up is Ilkai Gundagan. His stats look like this. He was also on the pitch for 29 minutes, 31 touches, 100% accurate passes, 1 shot block, none out of 1 successful dribble attempt, 1 out of 5 ground duels were won, none out of 1 aerial duels were won. 4 times he lost possession, 2 fouls. He was fouled once, 1 clearance, 1 block shot, and 1 interception. Thoughts on Gundagan's performance, Bernard?
Yeah, he didn't really get a chance to get going, and he got himself booked, I think, as well, for a bit of a silly tackle. I think he got involved. I think a couple of theirs were getting booked at the same time. He got involved in a bit of afters and a bit of messing with the sporting players, which he didn't need to do. But he never really got time to get up to speed in it, and it was okay. But as I say, he could have done without a silly little booking that he got.
Yeah, definitely. He tweeted as well, comfortable victory away from home. What a strong display from the team. We'll move on to Fernandinho then. His stats look like this. 17 minutes he was on the pitch, 22 touches, 95% accurate passes, 2 out of 2 accurate long balls, none out of 2 aerial duels were won, and he lost the ball once. Thoughts on Fernandinho's performance?
Yeah, good to see you thinking about talking about he might get another season out of him as far as playing. Then obviously, even if not, I think he's a shoe-in for coaching responsibilities, isn't he? In some way, whether he'll go somewhere else and come back at some stage. But so that's good to see. Yeah, I mean, at that stage in a 5-0 game, anyone coming on, you don't expect him to have much effect. You don't expect him to have a much effect, positive or negative, but he's just a nice, safe player to bring on when you're comfortable in a game.
Yeah, definitely. Next up, then we have Nathan Ake. Actually, we've got a tweet here from Fernandinho. What a great Champions League night. Superb result and performance, but we still have work to do back in Manchester. So to Nathan Ake then, he was on the pitch for 9 minutes, 1 out of 1 ground duels were won. He lost the ball once, he was fouled once, 11 touches, 90% accurate passes as well. Thoughts on Ake's performance, Bernard?
Yeah, I don't remember much of it, mate. I'll be honest with you. I don't. Apart from his haircut, and as I say, we're getting towards the end of the game. 9 minutes? I say it doesn't make a lot of difference. He could have brought on one of the. I'm surprised actually he didn't bring on a couple of the youngsters, even with 9 minutes left. I mean, what are we going to cause any damage at 5-0? Possibly not. I was a bit surprised that he brought on all the old stages, didn't he? He didn't bring any of the kids on, so that did surprise me a little bit. But it didn't surprise. It did surprise me in one way, but not in another way, because it's Pep, so we know what he's like, and he doesn't want to take. You only need a couple of late goals, and obviously 5-2. Oh, it's a closer game, isn't it? But a bit of a waste of time. They could have just left him on the bench, nice and warm.
Yeah. And then Liam Delap came on for his Champions League debut. He was also on the pitch for 9 minutes. He got 1 touch of the ball. None out of 2 ground duels were won. He lost the ball once, 2 fouls as well. He's not even got a map in the top right corner. That shows how long he was on the pitch.
Well, 2 fouls, that just about sums up his 9 minutes, doesn't it? Goes 2 fouls. So, another, a bit like, as I said, he's been on before. He's done it before. I should say one of the other lads perhaps should have come on for that last 9 minutes. One of the other kids who hasn't played at that level much. But there you go. Pep's Pep, isn't he?
Yeah. He also tweeted after the game, dream come true to make my Champions League debut. So some stats and facts from after the game. The plane containing the players had to actually land at Liverpool instead of Manchester due to high winds, with a diversion, which you don't like to see, but at least they landed safely.
It's
And
nice,
then
nice to see Liverpool Airport putting out some pro Liverpool FC tweets as well, which is a bit of a dig at City or stuff like that. But they got plenty of stick back, so that's not too bad.
Yeah. And then some stats about City. We've now won our last 5 away games in the knockout stage of the Champions League. 2-1 at Real Madrid, 2-0 at Borussia Mönchengladbach, 2-1 at Borussia Dortmund, 2-1 at PSG, and 5-0 at Sporting. And then updated top scorers: Mahrez 17, Sterling 13, Bernardo with 10, Foden with 9, De Bruyne with 8, Jesus and Gundagan with 6. The goal contributions: Mahrez with 24, Sterling with 17, Foden and De Bruyne with 15, Jesus 14, Bernardo 13, Cancelo 11, as well as Gundagan. City have become the fastest team to reach 200 goals in the Champions League, reaching the landmark in 97 games. City have now scored 5 goals in a single game 43 times under Pep, 13% of the games the City manager has taken charge of at the club. De Bruyne and Gundagan both made their 50th Champions League appearances for City. City have become the first team in Champions League history to lead an away game by 4+ goals at half-time in the knockout stages of the competition as well. So they are some stats. We'll move on to Pep then. A stat on Pep: City have now scored 4 goals in the first half of a football match for the 12th time under Pep Guardiola. We'll go to Pep then. He got it right, then he got it spot on.
Yeah, and I say it's nice to see him still saying we can be far better, and I think that's gone over to the players that they can be far better. As I said, it wasn't perfect by any means. It's against a better, no disrespect to Sporting, against a better team. We may have been punished once or twice in that first half. So it's good to see that even though we were dominant and it was a great result, a fantastic result, that Pep's keeping the players' feet on the ground. And obviously they're talking all the positives about the second leg. It's only half time and there's another game, which is fair enough. And that's the mindset we should be in if we want to. We're breaking all these records, but let's face it, every time one of those stats come on Twitter, I don't even look at the replies, because all the replies will be, "Oh, it's a shame you haven't won the European Cup" and stuff like that. That's all you'll get. So I just dread looking at those stats, and I don't even look at the answers, because I know what the answers will be, and they're quite right in the end. They're quite right. Can do what we want. Quickest team to 200 goals, etc., etc. Doesn't really matter much until we actually put that cup in our cabinet, and that's what Pep, I think, is determined to do this year. Ironically, I don't think at this point in time we're looking quite as good as we were last year. I thought we had a slightly better thing last year, but that's how it works, isn't it? It doesn't always necessarily so that if your greatest team's going to win it. So I mean, at least it's that consistency. So I'm glad to see Pep's keeping the players' heads screwed on as well, and he picked the right team yesterday. I don't think there's any. The only other change he could have made, which was never on the cards because of the Brentford game where he tried it out, was putting Zinchenko left back, obviously, and Cancelo back to right back. That's the only other change he possibly could have done. Otherwise, I think the team more or less picked itself, and that, as it will be against Spurs this week, adding Walker to it, that's our best available team at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. We've got a few Pep quotes here. From the match, of course, he said, "We saw in the first 5 minutes how good Sporting are, and the difference between both teams, believe me, isn't 5-0 up front. We were so clinical, we defend well, and they attack with a lot of players in front of the ball, and we punish them on the counter-attack." He also said on Bernardo's first goal, "What a goal. always I push him to score more goals. When we talk about how good he is as a player, he has everything, but he has the ability to score more. And today in a city he loves, and of course a rival of Benfica, I'm pretty sure he's happy. He also said he's unique. First, as a person, his mum and dad have to be so proud. A lovely person, so generous. He doesn't complain. He can play in 6 roles easily. He doesn't just play football. He understands the game. And finally, it's a dream result, a perfect result, but we can do better. We'll move on to Sporting then. How do you think they played, Bernard?
Well, it possibly shows the gulf between the Portuguese league and the English Premier League. I say we think it's a good level. I don't think that's possibly one of their better games, to be honest with you. I think they had a fairly strong team out. I don't think they particularly rested any. As I said, I think psychologically and physically that game against Porto last week, which was more or less a must-win for them because obviously they're 6 points behind, and in the Portuguese league, that's a mountain because there's not that many great teams in the Portuguese league. So, the chances of them reclaiming the Champions title look fairly remote now as long as Porto keep going. So, yeah, there's a lot of pressure on that game, and it may have paid the other night against City. They may have paid for that a little bit because, as I said, they didn't start too badly, but I think the Reds went down very quickly, and I think that was the problem. And yeah, a little bit disappointed, but they've won the League Cup. They've won the Portuguese League Cup already. They won that 2 or 3 weeks ago. They're in the semi-final of the equivalent of their FA Cup. They're still second in the league in Portugal. So yeah, I mean they've got plenty to play for. But be interested to see what sort of team they put out when they play us at the Etihad. Of course, I expect him to rest players particularly, and perhaps put more in a couple of 2 or 3 more inexperienced players in and try and say they're still going to try and go for that league, even though it's looking more impossible by the week. But yeah, a bit disappointed, but I think there were reasons for it.
Yeah. A quote then from the Sporting manager. Every time City came in our box, they scored. It shows how great they are. But I'm very proud of my players. After the 3rd goal, it becomes suffering and is no longer football. But I'm very proud of our players and our fans as well. So we'll move on to the referee then, Serdan Jovanovic. Sorry if I've butchered that, but how do you think he did, Bernard?
Yeah, I think it was all right, mate, don't you? I didn't think anything bad. It's not his fault VAR took so long to sort that. I mean, I'd lost the will to live by the time they'd called that a goal, to be honest with you. They didn't even celebrate it. It took that long for it to... But it's not his fault. He has to wait for it, and obviously it's not his fault it took so long. I thought it was okay. What did you think? I mean, I didn't think anything... I'd say it got a little bit, not dirty, but a little bit niggly at times, and he seemed to book players at the right time. I thought he was okay, mate. What did you think?
Well, he didn't have much to do, to be honest, did he?
That's right. But he didn't let things get carried away either. As I said, he didn't book anyone without the need to book anyone. I don't think he didn't. You know what I mean? And he just did it when he had to do it, and I think he kept the game flowing reasonably well. And I think it was all right for a referee.
Yeah, well, refereeing's at a very low standard this day and age. So he was probably one of the best we've ever seen with our refereeing standards in the Premier League. But
get him over to our league.
yeah. Take anyone at this point, let's be honest. We'll move on to the fans then. For a 2,700-mile round trip, a sold-out away end as well. Just showing how good our away fans are again there, aren't we?
Yeah, and you could hear them, and obviously sometimes these away grounds are so noisy, you sometimes can't hear our guys, and it's sometimes in an open end, which is awful. Open ends are awful for transmitting sound, as you probably know, Charlie. They're terrible. Not so many these days, so it's not too bad, but you just can't get a real atmosphere in an open end. There's just nothing in there. It's like shouting into air. It's just nothing. And I could hear them last night all the time. Yeah, I could hear the Sporting fans, and certainly towards the end, but I mean, mean, the ground was 2/3 empty by the time they started swinging the scarves around and supporting the team. You know what I mean? So yeah, I was pretty proud of the guys that went. I think they got treated like muck as we usually do when we go to these away games. I mean, I've only been to a couple over time. I just can't afford these things. But I mean, we treat away fans at the Etihad, and generally away fans who come to our country get treated pretty well. I think we put up with a load of crap off them, to be honest with you. From, you know, they get away with murder and they get treated correctly. But I think the City fans got locked in for 50 minutes, and then they got sort of corralled to somewhere, and they ended up at this subway station. The place was locked when they got there. I mean, it's absolutely shocking. And I think generally English fans are treated very poorly when we go to some of these away games, and from the position in the stadium, you know, they can put us in the gods or whatever, to any, you know, and we bend over backwards for European fans at our grounds, but unfortunately it's not reciprocated, I don't think, and certainly the police are far worse over there. And obviously, all right, a lot of our guys like a drink or two, of course they do, but yeah, I'm not happy with the way we're treated, and I'm glad I don't go. I mean, I wish I could go to more, but I do hear some horror stories. But the lads who went over there, fantastic. Hopefully, they all got back safe and sound. Yeah,
definitely. The next question, I think it's fairly obvious, to be honest. But who was your man of the match?
Fairly obvious. I had 2 or 3 down. To be honest with you. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I had in the end I come down between Bernardo and Mahrez, and I think I mean, topsy-turvy now. I can't remember who I give it to. I can't give. Let me think. Yeah, no, I'll give it Sterling. I give it Sterling in the end, even though he had Bernardo and Mahrez down and Sterling as well. So I ended up. I think I give it Sterling. Oh, I don't, Charlie. I don't know, mate. I think I'm getting confused with the other game, Norwich. No, I'll give Sterling Norwich. That was it. Yeah, my apologies. It was. It'll come to me. I'm getting old. It was, oh, good grief, between Bernardo and Mahrez, and I can't remember who would give it to, mate. I can't choose now because I thought they both played very, very well. I'll give it Bernardo, but I think I might give it Mahrez on my thing. So if anyone watches any of my stuff and says you give it Mahrez, it's my old head. I can't remember. It was this morning. It was about 12 hours ago.
Yeah.
I thought all three. I thought Sterling played very well as well, but I probably might give a joint one, but Bernardo or Mahrez for me, and obviously, but Bernardo because I love him probably.
Yeah. And then on Saturday night, Tottenham at home. How are you feeling for that game?
Yeah, well, we know Tottenham are quite capable, aren't they? Son likes to score against us, doesn't he? And no doubt the way things are with Harry Kane, he'd love to score a goal against us as well. But I think we should be beating them. They're not great defensively. Lloris is one of the worst keepers in the Premier League for me. I don't like Lloris at all. I think the defence in front of him is very, very iffy. And one thing for Sporting as well, we took chances, didn't we? I think we took some half chances, which we don't always do, and that's what we'll have to do against Tottenham. If we can take our half chances and score the goals, we'll be fine. Otherwise, if it drags on 0 or 1 goal difference, Tottenham are always capable of getting something, but they're not playing well. We should be beating them, and we have a great record at home against Tottenham. We always have had. We always do very, very well at home. And Conte's still trying to sort out the team. I think he's still learning as he's going ahead. So I'm hoping for at least. I think I've put in my little predictions a 3 or 4-1 victory. So I'm hoping that'll pay off. I'll give them a goal. I said 3-0 or 4-1 or something like that, but hopefully it'll be all right. But as I said, they're not great. They're all right. They're all right, Tottenham. We know they can hurt us, but we should be able to beat them as long as we take in the teamwork that we've had the last 3 or 4 games. Even if we're not playing so well, the team's been playing very, very well as a unit. Carry on with that. We should be fine.
Yeah. And the final thing I'd like to talk about, the 40th minute, there'll be a minute's applause for Darren Blair, who sadly lost his life, a lifelong blue. So if you are there at the Etihad Saturday night, make sure to join in the minute's applause on the 40th minute of the game. So we'll wrap it up there. Big up Chelsea fan, big up Chris, both in the chat as well. Where can we find you, mate?
Yeah, if you put follow me on Twitter at Bernard_Dineen, and then obviously I'll put that in your search engines or Citizen channel, CITIZEN, not with the Y, CITIZEN. All my City stuff comes up, and if you like a bit of film and TV as well, I do stuff on that. So again, all under at Bernard_Dineen. If you follow me on Twitter, I follow back, and you can get all the links to my stuff on there. And thanks very much, Charlie. Much appreciated.
So you can find me here at Dugout Daily, of course. Also, hit the Apex on YouTube as well. At MCFC Hibs on Twitter and at FootyAwayFans_. We'll be live again for one of the Europa League games at 8 o'clock. I've not decided which game yet. And at 10:15, me and Amondi will be talking about F1. So, yeah, everybody, thank you all so much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you all later. Take care, and goodbye for now.